Mr. Vice President, ministers, excellencies, I will not rehearse the whole list again in the interest of time, but thank you so much to the government of Cote d'Ivoire for your hospitality. Let me recognize 60 member countries here, the civil society, private sector, donor, and UN networks, all of you, Goethe and your great secretariat. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all enjoy Abidjan. I hope you all enjoy each other, and I hope you all enjoy the opportunity, which I look forward to, of learning from each other. In thinking about my remarks today, I recalled the launch of the SUNGG movement 7 years ago in New York. Anyone there will remember in that room not only how many people were there, not just from governments, from civil society, the private sector, etc., but the enthusiasm, as all of us were united in a common cause against malnutrition and the scourge, the tragic injustice of stunting. So many potential movements begin this way in a fever of enthusiasm and commitment, but few of them become actual movements. Enthusiasm wanes, vertical governance inhibits horizontal ownership. The initial idea that brought people together becomes spread too thinly, blurring the priorities of the movement. The SUNGG movement has avoided this fate. In fact, it's become a model of what a movement can achieve, of what a movement can be. Why? How do we explain our progress? How do we do it now, and how can we preserve our character as a movement in the months and the years ahead as SUNGG evolves, as it must? I reflected with a number of colleagues on these questions and on their answers. The first secret of SUNGG's progress: collaboration. I know that all of its members, all of you, take SUNGG's success personally. Each of you feels responsible for its success. Each of you owns its success, and rightly so. SUNGG is not led vertically from the top down, nor is it confined to the vertical cloisters of the United Nations or indeed any hierarchical organization. It's a true movement, ultimately led horizontally by its members. All of you lending your ideas, your resources, and your expertise in an organized way to support country-led actions while carrying out your own work in the communities. This depends fundamentally on our subordinating any disagreements among us to our common interest in the success of our common cause. Second, SUNGG has been strategic about what it takes on. When the idea of our movement was born, a number of global trends focused our attention on food security and nutrition, including rising food prices that threatened the poorest and most vulnerable citizens, and clearly demonstrated the tragic effects of undernutrition on the bodies and the minds of millions. In particular, the emerging science showed us that we could make a dramatic difference in children's lives by delivering low-cost nutrition interventions that supported the brain development of the youngest children everywhere, and especially those living in the poorest communities. We knew that if we acted within the first 1,000 days of a child's life, we could prevent stunting, promoting healthy physical growth and healthy brain development, thus improving not only that individual child's prospects, her ability to learn and earn someday, but the prospects of her family, her society, and her country in the future. So in its initial stages, the SUNGG movement made a strategic decision to focus primarily on stunting, given the overwhelming evidence that showed that it was and is preventable in a very cost-effective way. Another strategic decision early on was to focus on both advocacy and implementation, and to do so with one voice. SUNGG united a wide number of voices in speaking out on what the world must do to combat undernutrition. Not only did this draw more public attention and resources to our cause, it also encouraged some organizations which were initially reluctant to join with us. And it helped generate the political will that governments need to invest in this critical issue. And thanks to the hard work and leadership of SUN leaders like David Nabarro and Tom Arnold and Gerda Verberg, and so many others, the movement also supported implementation of programs to reduce stunting and other forms of malnutrition at the community level. Without our extraordinary secretariat, none of this would have happened, including this meeting. And thank you so much for all that hard work. Commitment and hard work led to the third reason why SUN is a model: its record of results and thus the momentum that we've maintained. 60 countries and 3 states in India have signed on, along with more than 2,000 civil society groups, 2,000, over 400 businesses, numerous donors, scientists, UN agencies, citizens alike. Tens of thousands of people taking part in this great effort to improve nutrition and reduce stunting. And the best result of all, SUN has contributed to millions fewer children, SUN has contributed to millions fewer children suffering from stunting, from 165 million in 2012 to around 155 million today. It's a great, every one of those an individual child who has a brighter future because of that change. Results, collaboration, being selective and strategic about our work, 3 of the driving factors behind SUN's success. We have to carry these characteristics forward as we look ahead to the work we have. And we'll be discussing this over the next 2 days. Work we're now in a position to expand while we retain our focus on stunting. Expanding our work in humanitarian emergencies, where child nutrition is such a defining characteristic. Helping address the growing obesity epidemic, as Gerda mentioned. And a third challenge, finding new ways for SUN to engage with global alliances on issues like child and cognitive development, water and sanitation, and education, all sectors in which nutrition plays a critical role. Over the next 2 days, I look forward to our discussions on the next steps in our movement and on how we can learn from our mistakes as well as our progress so we can meet new challenges while maintaining our central character. We are the SUN movement. We must always remember the SUN, the need to scale up nutrition, while never forgetting the word movement. So thank you all. Networks, the executive committee, the lead group, the secretariat, once again for lending your hearts, your minds, and your hands to this great cause, literally the future of our children. Thank you.